Do you like playing games yourself?
Well, I like playing games, but I'm really not that good at it, and I'm such a competitor that until I get my hand-and-eye coordination down, I'll take it real slow. But my son plays, my daughter plays, and everybody I know, who's into computers and into games, are all looking forward to the Starsky Hutch game because they know my involvement in the series, and I'm looking forward to seeing how Huggy interacts in the game, and how he helps move the game along and all that. So it's exciting for me from that aspect, and so it's and then the fact that within the game you can be driving the car and then someone else can be shooting, so you can either do it yourself or you can have a buddy or mate work with you at the game. And so I think probably I'll be the shooter because I think I could do that a little bit better than working the car, because I probably crash into everything. But it's exciting. Anticipation is real high in terms of the people that I meet who can't wait to see what's been done with Starsky Hutch in the video game.
Okay, so I believe you've got a music career now. You're trying to record some music. What's going on with your life now?
Oh boy, I'm always trying to break sort of new grounds and combine a 70s feel, because I love the 70s music, and mixing it with some young contemporary artist and feel. So I have a record company called Bump It, and we're on bumpit.com, bumpit.com, and so I promote my music through that, and I'm also working on some singles and touring the UK with the Blues Brothers, where I get to sing and before an audience. And actually I worked with David Soul in a play a couple of years ago in Brixton in the UK, and he encouraged me to sing, and we did a concert after the show, and it really worked out well. So I kind of owe my live performance, taking those chances because David encouraged me to do it. So it's been great, and I just have a wonderful time with music today. I was a little bit afraid of it, and because it had to do with math, and I wasn't so good at math and all that other stuff. But now it's like a lot of fun, and I continue to try to perfect my music, and working on an album, a CD, it's the album doing more, and working in the studio is really exciting. It's a whole another avenue for me that I like, and hopefully so far people like what I'm doing.
So do you still see Paul and David on a regular basis? What are they doing? What's going on now?
Oh, yeah, of course, David lives in London, and I see him all the time, and in fact, I worked with him a couple of years ago, and we're just supportive of each other, and we have something that was really special, and we may not get together that much, but over the years, when we do meet or see each other or think fondly of each other, it's always been good. And all this attention around Starsky Hutch, we've been asked to do a number of stories and documentaries about what it was like and all that, and we always are supportive of each other's careers and lives and avenues that we've traveled. Paul came over for the play when I worked with David a couple of years ago for the opening, and we had a sort of mini reunion. It was really special, and life goes on.
So one final question, I'll tell you. Your character with Huggy Bear was streetwise, it was cool, but do you think if you had actually got into trouble, going into a fight, you would have won, or you would have got his ass kicked?
I think the whole survival aspect of Huggy Bear was that if he needed to run, he would have ran. If he thought he could handle himself, he would have handled himself. He was a good decision maker, and that's why it was.
Can you tell me how you came to get the part of Huggy Bear?
Well, I was a young, hungry actor in New York. It was about 1970, 71, 72, and I did a film called Across 110th Street that was directed by Barry Shear, and it was with Tony Franciosa and Anthony Quinn, and it was a real action film set in Harlem. about some guys that rob a numbers bank. And I knew I had to go to Los Angeles in order to, to fulfill my dreams about doing lots of television or more films. So I went to Los Angeles, and my agent got a call from a producer, I believe Aaron Spelling, and Barry Shear was directing the pilot for Starsky Hutch. And he suggested me for the role, and I didn't have to read for it or anything. I just came in, and so the role was mine, because it was just one scene, and they just wanted some authentic kind of character actor, a street guy called Huggy Bear. And we had a great relationship in terms of with Starsky and Hutch in that scene, and I didn't know, but they had ideas that if that scene worked, that I would be part of the formula that was hopefully eventually make Starsky and Hutch a success, and it worked out.
So where did the name Huggy Bear come from? It's quite memorable. It's quite unique. Where did it come from?
Well, it wasn't a unique name, but as an actor, I just said, hey, the role Huggy Bear, it sounded cool to me because as a character actor, I was used to being called all kinds of different names in terms of the stuff that I did. But and I never thought, when I thought about it, well, Huggy Bear maybe should have been somebody of a different stature or something. I was this skinny young actor, but I sort of made the role mine because I just accepted the fact that he was who he was. But William Blinn created a series and wrote the pilot. He was driving from San Francisco. He said in a documentary, and he heard a late night DJ who was called Huggy Bear, and he just thought it was a fascinating name, and he found a character that he could put it on.
Okay, so who's your favorite character in the show, Starsky or Hutch?
Me. My favorite character was Huggy Bear. They say, because when I got the script, a lot of times I had one scene in it, and sometimes I would just throw out the other pages and concentrate on my scene. The show was definitely starring David Soul and Paul Michael Glaser, and they were, they carried the show. They were unique, and they made my job real easy because I just came in, gave some information, I had a little interaction with them, but it was sort of a welcome respite from all of this action that was going on, and they would come to Huggy's place, and it would be a little bit lighter, and it was sort of a welcome thing for the audience also. But I think, both David and Paul were really very, very special, and we had a special relationship, in terms of three working actors, as well as Bernie Hamilton as Captain Dobie, that we really hung together and really, looked out for each other, and particularly tried to do whatever I could as an actor and as Huggy Bear to support, what they were trying to do, and it turned out to be a winning formula.
In strict terms, your character was it was a small role within the show, so why do you think you've had so much impact throughout the world? Everybody knows your face, everybody knows your name.
I have no idea. The magic and the power of television and the power of memory, and the fact that we had a winning formula and each character had carried his own weight, and sometimes less is more. And I wasn't on camera that much, but there must have been something, and I think it's more about the humanity of the character. I think every man sort of kind of identified with this guy who sort of walked on the edge of being, maybe he was a baddie, maybe he was a goodie, but he was certainly someone who had feelings. And I think the feelings of the character and how he feels and how he cares about whatever he's doing, and he was a survivor. And I think people identify with the fact that Huggy was a survivor, and he used humor and his wiles in order to survive in the world of Star.
So how would you rate the show's success in the US and the rest of the world during its heyday?
I had no time, and we had no time to think about, all we knew that we were really up there in the ratings, and we had such a demanding schedule. And for me personally, I didn't know the impact that much on what was going on around the world until after the show was over, and I got to travel a little bit and see, how popular the show was, and in particular how people had really taken to my character. Because maybe if I did, I would have asked for more money or something. But I was just very, very happy to be working and to be working with, with the people that I worked with, and the timing was everything. And I certainly had the power of television and memory had such a lasting residual love fest with the audience that still goes on today, and is quite special and touching.
So you must have met some fascinating people, some stars and some incredible celebrities.
Well, it was really interesting because there were so many people who guest starred on the show, who went on to other things. And, I don't even remember some of the names, but it was a time in the 70s there when a lot of people in Hollywood were just making transitions from television to film, so we had sort of a who's list, because when you have a hit show, and we had a lot of actors who, if they had good casting, they found good people. And so a lot of the people that I met, through my years in the business, we're all peers. We all was trying to do a good job, and some of us get more famous, or after the fact, or even during. But it's I don't look at it as too much as a fan, but I was a fan of a lot of people I worked with, particularly when I worked with Tony Francioso across 110th Street, and of course Anthony Quinn, and some of the other people I've had the honor to work with, and a lot of people came through Starsky Hutch, and sometimes they say, you know what, I was in one of those episodes, and we have a laugh, and we bring back some nice memories.
So would you do it all again?
Of course, I'm a working actor, and you're only as good as your last job, and we'll continue. And I've been very blessed to have 40-something years in the business, and out of that 40-something years, 4 years was devoted to the active production of Starsky Hutch, but it has also been the most powerful impact in terms of audience exposure. So I have, a decent legacy, so to speak, and I'm an actor, and I would look for opportunities to do what I do.
So did you ever get tired of being associated with heavy band?
Oh boy, that's a tough one. I believe that the key to some of the things that I feel are good qualities in people that embrace their legacy and embrace, what the audience embraces in terms of what you gave them. And I think certainly we gave them some special memories. And as I traveled the world, and particularly in the UK, I found a lot of people who grew up watching the show, and when they get a chance to express their gratitude and pleasure in what we did, it's very hard to be